20th century film, Son of God. What did it do last weekend? How much did it do at the box office? Because our group, that is a faith-driven consumer group, makes the point. I try to make this point all the time. It's not just about boycotting Hollywood. It's about boycotting. When there's a film out there in your wheelhouse, if you want more of this behavior, it's not enough to boycott the negative behavior. It's to boycott things that you want more of out there in the public square. I'm wondering, I'd love to hear from you. Are you a proponent of that? Boycotting is a relatively easy thing. Well, sometimes it is. Talked about that yesterday with Apple and some of the nonsense they're saying. They have great products. But boycotting something is making a more affirmative decision and letting them know by voting with your feet and your dollars that you're doing something. So Son of God was at the box office this past week. How did it do? Our guest here to talk about the Son of God movie and other things from the faith-driven consumer. I love this as a think tank around this, as a clearinghouse. Chris Stone joins us on Talk Radio 1210. Hey, Chris, welcome in.
Thank you so much for having me today.
Well, Chris, the idea of this is wonderful, and you guys played a large role in saving Phil Robertson, his return to Duck Dynasty.
Yes, we had a great opportunity to share with faith-driven consumers around the country what was happening and asking them to respond. And 266,000 people signed an open letter petition, if you will, to A&E saying that they wanted to see Phil back and that the things that Phil stood for in his faith were things that resonated with them, and they liked him being on the show. And subsequent to that, as we all know, A&E and the Robertson family came together, and everything is back as it should be.
Absolutely. It was a win-win there. Now, you've given 4.5 stars. You also serve as reviewers of things in this wheelhouse to Son of God, which I have not seen yet. Why do you feel the film is so deserving of that?
Well, I think from a consumer standpoint, it provides most of what the faith-driven consumer audience is looking for. It's relatively true to the Bible, to the narrative that most of us hold dear. Obviously, there will be people who can find fault in some way, shape, or form, but overall, we think that the producers did a really good job of bringing forth something, as you said, that's in our wheelhouse. Also, we're encouraged that people have voted with their feet and their wallets by going to see the movie. It came in at about $26 million over the weekend, putting it second to Liam Neeson's movie Nonstop at $30 million, and given a much more narrower market for Son of God to the more mass market of Neeson's movie. I think that shows that faith-driven consumers supported the behavior that they were seeking, which is a movie that resonates with them.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, Chris, your group is right there where I am, which is it's one thing to boycott. We get that as a tactic, et cetera. The boycott is the way to move the needle with Hollywood. And, I know at times these films like The Passion of the Christ, I think that $600 million plus, it only cost $30 million to make, and I saw that on the first day, the Gibson film. Hollywood doesn't seem to respond to what we know will work, but the only other option is to give up here. So we have to vote with our feet when there is something that they give that fits the worldview, is wholesome, is family entertainment, that kind of thing.
Absolutely, and we're very pleased with Hollywood's reaching out to the faith-driven consumer market segment this year. They've dubbed it the Year of the Bible Movie. There are a number of films slated for this year that are really beginning with Son of God and then with Noah at the end of the month. And subsequent to that, there are going to be a string of movies coming forth. So I think Hollywood is beginning to reach out to faith-driven consumers and attempt to make a relationship. And as faith-driven consumers and at faithdrivenconsumer.com, we feel it's our responsibility to give them feedback, tell them how they're doing so that they can be successful in what they're about. Because we understand that they're in the business of generating a profit, and profit, by definition, is the reward that someone receives for giving others what they need and they want. So it's part of the economic model that America's built on, and we're doing our part.
Absolutely. Faithdrivenconsumer.com, and we'll refer to that often. Thank you very much, Chris. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having me, and good day, and hope that your listeners will enjoy those movies.
Thank you, Chris. Thanks very much. Son of God, have you seen it? And my broader point is this. I tried to last year, and we had one successful one. I've tried to engage in boycotts, not just boycotts. Leave that to the MSNBCers, et cetera, all the boycotting of everything. How about boycotting things that we really want to see that are out there? And this group gives great information on that. As he said, it's not a perfect film. Some people biblically might have a slight problem with it, but 4 stars at 4.5 out of 5. It's an attempt in Hollywood doing more of that this year. That's the way to push back. You have to have a foot in the culture. Rather than people that call me and say, I don't watch any of this stuff, I don't have anything to do with any, well, you're going to cede that ground to the other side. And you're going to miss out on a lot of things that are good, I think. This is one of them. 855-839-1210, you get on board. Now, this is one of my things I take the most heat for.